All right, we're just going to go. Hang on just one moment. I have so much I want to share with you. I'm so excited. So I'd like to, one more time. And I need to share computer sound. That's all right. So let's just breathe in. I just want you to open your heart and listen. Listen.
There is a power for good in the universe greater than you are, and you can use it.
And we do love the organ music. It's kind of fun. So that is the voice of Dr. Ernest Holmes. And it's really interesting. What I have discovered is a lot of people have not heard his voice before. And so it's just kind of special to hear that. And again, these and greater things shall ye do. There's no place like Holmes. And to me, Holmes is our roots where we can fly. And so I'd like us to come together. I invite you, wherever you are, we're going to affirm your greatness, our greatness. And so wherever you are, I invite you to say with me, I have a great purpose. I am the power and essence of love. I am revealing peace on earth now. These and even greater things shall I do. And just feel that. How does that feel? How does that feel in your body? Because sometimes we resonate and it lifts us up, and sometimes it's like, me? Little old me, huh? And just hang on there. Because the good stuff is coming. So a lot of people may recognize this photo of Dr. Holmes. He's very stately in his robe, sitting in this chair. He looks very formal. Yes, this is our founder of our Science of Mind movement. But I have to tell you, from being here and working with Dr. Holmes and being with him like literally daily here at the Science of Mind archives, I know a different Ernest. This is the Ernest that I know. Dr. Ernest Shurtleff Holmes. Just a very kind, loving, down-to-earth, yet brilliant man. He loved to talk to people and ask them questions because he was just so curious. He just he wanted to know the meaning of life. He wanted to know the meaning of how does this thing called life work? And for us, we are grateful because he created the Science of Mind teaching, thanks to that curiosity. Here are his parents, Anna and William Holmes. And so Dr. Ernest Holmes, he was born on January 21st in 1887 on a small farm near Lincoln, Maine. He was the youngest of 9 boys. Oh my God. Thank you, Anna Holmes. His mother was a school teacher and his father was a self-educated farmer. And his family believed in the goodness of God. They did not believe in a personal devil and urged all their children to come to religion with a questioning mind. And honestly, Ernest was born in poverty. There was these hard economic times most of his early life. His father did not do well at farming or attempting to raise sheep, and their farm had to be mortgaged. And later, when the bank foreclosed, the family moved into an abandoned farmhouse and began a nomadic life, which lasted several years. And during this period, some of the boys, including Ernest, stayed with various relatives. Eventually, Ernest Holmes' father landed a job in the logging camp, and the family came back together again. And so it really was kind of a tough upbringing for him and his family early on. And this is the Holmes boys. Isn't that an impressive family? So he was the youngest of 9, and one of his brothers passed before Ernest was born. So there's 8 of them. And just all of them are just really dynamic, curious, amazing. And hopefully you can kind of figure out that Ernest is this 3rd one over. And another of the famous brothers is his brother Fenwick, which is like the third from the other end. That's Fenwick Holmes, who actually wrote a biography on Ernest Holmes called Ernest Holmes, His Life and Times. And so it's a really great resource to learn more about Ernest and his family. And I love this picture of Ernest and his wife Hazel with their dog Prince down here, the little German Shepherd. He just loved Hazel so much. They were just a loving couple, and Hazel was a practitioner too. So Hazel was Ernest Holmes' personal practitioner as he was moving through the movement. A really kind of fascinating thing, I think, is the movement was birthed on Valentine's Day in 1927. The Institute of Religious Science and School of Philosophy was incorporated in California. And this is his first practitioner class from 1927. And so you can see he wrote Ernest Holmes and then teacher right beside it. And then the third one down is Anna Holmes. His mom was in his first practitioner class, which is really cool. And when you hang out here at the archives, a lot of these names will start popping out and you'll get to know them too. But this is how we started, was with these folks as practitioners. And I also like this photo too. This is Ernest and his brother Fenwick. The story we're telling is that they are writing the last book that Ernest Holmes ever wrote, called The Voice Celestial. The Voice Celestial. And I'm going to stop share there. And so just a little bit about Dr. Holmes. So he did have kind of a tough upbringing. He could have used his story as a reason of why, why to go to greatness, to become the leader, founder of this entire movement, and the reason why we are all here. But no, he was just so grounded in spirit, and he was so curious. He was curious, and he had this internal longing to learn more. And he used that to just ask more questions. And then spirit just kept saying yes. Spirit led him along this journey where he was, when he was 20 years old at his brother William's house, he found Ralph Waldo Emerson's essays. And he's like, oh my God, that was one of his awakening moments, was Ralph Waldo Emerson. And that was so powerful, Emerson's poetry, Emerson's work. And then he also found Thomas Troward, who was really a key point of our teaching that came together. It was like the law of why things happen. And because there could be the law of averages, flip a coin, life's just going to happen. You hear that a lot in our world. But no, it's because when we consciously we choose what we do want and we put it into this invisible law that's impersonal, it says yes. It says yes. So we're grateful that he connected with Thomas Troward. And then there was Emma Curtis Hopkins, the teacher of teachers, who Ernest was one of her last students in 1924. And she taught him about mysticism. She taught him about the spirit. And so the teaching before, he had been teaching and preaching Troward and metaphysics in the teens, like the 1915, 16, and 17. He's out there in the world, so well over 100 years ago. And then all of a sudden, it was the synthesis of wisdom that came together. And he actually started writing the textbook in 1922. I didn't realize that. And he was Emma's last student. And then sure enough, he wrote the Science of Mind textbook in 1926. And then the movement started in 1927, and kind of the rest is kind of history in a way. But just what an amazing journey, and just being curious. And just like for you, like where are you with your story and your journey? Because you are here by divine appointment. You are here for a high purpose. And in your heart, you have that curiosity and that interest to learn more. And it's very powerful. And that's kind of where my story kind of starts too, was, well, I have one of those interesting stories too, growing up. So my mother was in not one, but 2 abusive marriages, and when she was when she was around. And so she married my dad, and when I was 6 years old, she was depressed and suicidal, and she actually committed suicide when I was 6 years old. And then my dad raised me and my sister, who was 5 years older than me, and he passed when I was 14. So here I'm 14 and my sister's 19, and she became my legal guardian. And I think about that. I mean, that was just kind of my life, that's just what I knew and what happened. But think about, could you imagine a 19-year-old raising a 14-year-old? Like, really? Oh my God. So by the grace of God go both of us. And it was very tough growing up, but I had this curiosity as well, and a willingness and an interest in helping others. And I was so grateful that I went to school. I went to the University of Michigan. I found psychology. I just loved why we think and where we go. And so it was really natural to find science of mind. And I did. There's patterns in life, in our family. Sometimes there's familial patterns. And so I did. I found a man and I married him, and it was not a healthy relationship. And I was depressed and suicidal. And I gave birth to this beautiful, sweet little girl, my Isabella, in 1999. And she really kept me going. She kept me going. And it was in 2006 that I found Mile High Church. It was actually on my mom's birthday. So I feel like she guided me to this loving teaching. I had been dabbling in metaphysics for many years. And I just learned about the power of our mind and putting things out to the universe and manifesting. And this is why I was in the human services, helping families however I could. And I would tell them, put it out to the universe. Tell the universe what you want and it'll come. And I just had magical things happen. I'm like, this is really interesting. So I kind of stumbled upon it. And then when I found science of mind, I'm like, where has this been my whole life? It's so loving and open and accepting, and then the oneness. And it literally changed my life. And so it was 16 years ago I found it. And 15 years ago, I left my husband and I moved into my little house that I'm in. I call it the sweet little house that saved me, with my daughter. And just that curiosity, I just took the classes. I became a practitioner. And I remember when, you might know that our words can be powerful. When I was a practitioner, I heard about the archives. Mile High's right down the road from the Science of Mind archives. Someone came and spoke, and I said, oh my God, I'm taking vows. I'm taking vows to this teaching. What? I need to see the archives. And I said that very powerfully, obviously. And it took a while. It wasn't like I had to leave messages, and I finally got here. And it was just like, this is so important to see our history and to feel our history. And honestly, don't tell anyone, I never really liked history growing up. That really wasn't my thing. And so for me to be here and to be so passionate about it, it's really kind of God. It has to be God. And so I got to tour it and check it out. And sure enough, I got this calling to become a minister. So my journey is still continuing. I want to be a minister. Within 24 hours, I got a phone call saying, would you like to interview to be director of the Science of Mind archives? And I'm like, I thought I said minister. What do you mean archives? But, you take those steps. I was like, I'm curious. I'll check it out. And I was like, it was just a match made in heaven. It was just, I went from running a domestic violence shelter for 10 years to running an archive. God has a sense of humor, and that's okay. I like it. It's good, because it actually did prepare me in a bizarre way to be here. And so very blessed to be at the archives. And it just continues. And so now the other wonderful manifestation is I'm in a beautiful, healthy relationship right now. So my life is just so good. And I just have this teaching to really bless and to thank. And so I just really, for you, where are you curious, or where is it in your life? Where is there this calling? What is your story that has led you to this place where you can use it as like the hero's journey? You can use your story as an inspiration of why you can do something. Because we truly are the ones that we've been waiting for. We are the ones to make a difference. And my ministry to me is peace. I have a peace ministry, and it's peace throughout the archives. It's peace on earth. But let's just take a moment. I just invite you to breathe and kind of go into your heart and just feel. And just even ask that question, what is my purpose? What is my purpose? And just listen. Take a breath and kind of come back. Come back to this beautiful, loving, brave, and beautiful space that we're creating here. Oh my gosh, I'm certain that we all have that in common with Dr. Holmes, that curiosity, an inner longing, a longing to learn more, to learn what is our purpose, to learn why we are here on the planet. And so I'm going to share my screen again, and we're going to say that affirmation again that we started out with. And we're going to add a little bit. There we go. All righty, my friends, let's do this. We're affirming my greatness. I have a great purpose. My purpose is to, and then share what your purpose is. Share it from your heart. I am the power and essence of love. I am revealing peace on earth now. These and even greater things shall I do. Just put your hands over your heart and just feel that. Feel your purpose. Feel that you are a power and essence of love. Feel that even greater things that you are doing. Thank you, Irene. And so I'd just like us to wrap up with a prayer. And as I like to do, I'm going to bring my beloved friend, Dr. Ernest Holmes, on to help with this closing prayer.
Now let us take as the thought for our meditation today these words of Jesus. Believest that I am in the Father, and the Father in me. And let us believe that God is right where we are, as together we repeat these words. I am in the Father, and the Father is in me. There is one life. That life is God. That life is my life now. I welcome the influx of this divine spirit in my own life. Joyfully I recognize the guidance of divine intelligence and the all-sustaining power of the infinite as it flows through my thought out into action in my life and the lives of those around me. Knowing that there is a power greater than I am, and realizing that this power is ready and willing to help me in everything I do, I put my whole trust in its love and in its wisdom. And I know that I am guided. I am guided into right thought and into right action. Not only do I make this claim for myself alone, equally I make it for everyone else. And it is my desire that I shall meet the Father of all in each, and that I shall recognize the divine presence in everyone I meet. And as I meet others, my life flows into theirs, and their lives flow into mine. Thus, a complete unity is established, a unity of peace, of joy, and of understanding.
So breathing in to those beautiful words from our founder, feeling that unity of peace and love, knowing that God is all that is going on here. And I just know and affirm that each person is here on purpose for a high purpose, and that each person feels that purpose in their heart. And just knowing through this teaching of science and mind that there truly is a power for good in the universe, greater than we are, and we get to use it. We are not alone. We open to receive that power. We open and we say yes. We say yes to our purpose. We say yes. And when we say yes, our lives just grow and expand in such beautiful ways. Magic happens seemingly, though it's just spirit saying yes to our yes. We open our hearts and, oh my goodness, we commune with spirit. That longing, that curiosity leads us to even other teachers and other readings. It leads us actually back to the Science of Mind archives, where truth is truth with a capital T, where the teachings of Dr. Holmes is here ready so we can hear his voice. We can read from his wisdom and use it to lift up our lives in even greater ways. So I just say thank you, God. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you for this sacred and holy time together with Monterey Center for Spiritual Living. Thank you for being here on the planet. Thank you for Dr. Ernest Holmes and this teaching. And I just release this word into the law, knowing it is done and good and very good. And so it is. Amen. Ashe. Thank you.
Thank you, Reverend Kathy. Thank you for that wonderful talk and for the history of Ernest. I didn't know that he was the baby of 9 boys.
I know, right?
That's what I learned today. At this time, we're going to be doing a little technical adjustment in the background that will be transparent to everyone there. But I do want to take this opportunity to invite you to share in the flow of abundance here with our spiritual community. And we have our statement of being, our statement of abundance, our affirmation of abundance that I would like for us to share together. I recognize the presence of God within as the source of my abundance. Out of my abundance consciousness flows everything I could desire in life. With gratitude and thanksgiving, I now participate in the flow of uninterrupted abundance. This prosperous experience is evidence of my abundance consciousness. And so there are ways for you to share with us. For those of you who are here with us in the center, we have a donation box on our hospitality table. For those of you who are viewing, you may mail in your contribution to our center, and the mailing address is on our screen. You may also text to give, and that number is on the screen. And you may also donate to our website, www.montereycsl.org. Our donations are safe and secure through Breeze. And the donations that you make to the center are fully tax deductible to the extent that is allowed by law. And now, are we ready to continue with the tour? Not yet? Okay. So I just want to, while we're doing our little adjustment in the background, I just want to acknowledge our magnificent tech team for the way they show up each Sunday and show up during the week to make sure that we bring to you the very best.